like to see where I was going, not where I've been. I was born and raised on the farm, and all I did was work. I went 1 year in Stockton and 3 years in Savannah, and high school was fine. I had good friends. The only thing in the high school, if I'd had to take 4 years of English, I'd still be there. I enlisted in the fall of '43. All my friends that I had in high school were in the service. And I figured I owed the country something too. And they didn't call me, and they didn't call me, and they didn't call me. So I called the man that was headed the drafting, and 3 days later I was gone. We had a march. I had to practice carrying guns, load guns, unload guns, stuff like that. And just wanted to be a pilot. I was down in Panama City, Florida. I was there before I went overseas. And take crew training. We flew quite a few missions down there, but I was on the B-17. And we didn't do any shooting, but we just flew around in it and got used to it, loading the guns and unloading them, and getting in and out, and putting our earphones on and using the radio. When we first started forming the bomb crew, we thought we was going to Europe. And what was his name? There was a guy from Minnesota and me, Stearns. And they sent them all up to Maryland to go to Europe, and we didn't go. And the next 2 days later, we went up and asked the commander why come we didn't get to go to Europe with the rest of them. And he says, for a very simple reason, there's a General Stearns over there and a General Striecher, and we aren't going to send you over there to get next to them. That's why we got sent to South Pacific. When I come back, I told my mother, I says, there was that General Striecher over there, and she related to my dad because my parents came from Germany, grandparents. My mother says, no, he's not related. I said, then why's come that he looks so much like my dad and Uncle Jake? And I still think he was part of the family. I was nose gunner, and we had a top turret gunner. We had a ball turret gunner and a tail gunner. And the engineer and the radio operator, they handled the guns on the side of the plane, back and by the bomb bay. And that was navigator. His job was to find where we was going and get us back home. And the bombardier was hope he could hit whatever he was aiming at. They was all very fine. Our bombardier, I called him Junior because he was 4 or 5 days younger than me. And their pilot was from here, from Wisconsin. Bombardier was from Wisconsin, or no, he was from California. And the top turret gunner was from Milwaukee. Listening to the pilot, he was from Milwaukee. Tail gunner was from Arkansas. And the ball turret gunner, he was from Canada. And our squadron was the Lone Rangers. And we spent a lot of hours on the air. Flew pretty low, so we could watch and look and check and see what we could see. The accident only was about 20, 30 minutes, and the rest of it was about 10, 11 hours. I only had 2 that was under 10. Squirrely Shirley, we flew on Squirrely Shirley, made in Montana, but we flew mostly. Indian Tummer was our plane. We flew that most of the time. It was hot. We was right on the equator. It wasn't used to that much heat, but otherwise it was fine. We started in Henderson Field, then we went to Biak, and Biak to Mortai, and then we stayed at Mortai. That was our home base. I got a piece of Japanese Betty, and I made a ring, and I had to go down the ocean, and I think we got about 20 pearls and broke them till we got one that fit. And then we went up to the doctor's office and the dentist and got the stuff that he used to make things for false teeth. And we used that brown. I had it, I still got it. Just as calm as can be. Just another day. Cavite Naval Base at Manila. That island, we bombed that. And otherwise, it was mostly ships and places where Borneo, where they had oil, and we bombed them and stopped oil. And otherwise, it was just mostly nosy, to find out what was going on. We was going to hit Luzon, and it was going to be invaded, Luzon, and we went in to go in, and I looked down, and I called the pilot and says, "No bombs, them's our plane, them's our equipment down there." Because the trucks all had stars on them, and they found out that they got confused with the day's difference, and they'd hit it the day before. So we were just lucky we didn't bomb our own troops. The Japanese had a fighter plane that the P-38 couldn't compare with, or the P-40. And they give us a lot of trouble, but we got holes in the plane a couple of times, but we never got seriously hurt by fighter planes. But they dive right down. What they had a habit of doing, they drive right down through the formation. And we couldn't shoot at them above, because if we hit one, it might take somebody out of the formation. We had to wait till they got through before we could shoot at them. We was on a mission to stop shipping. A friend of mine said to me, he says, this is Friday the 13th. You better give me your billfold. And I tossed it to him. And I says, you don't spend it because I'm going to be back for it. Anyhow, we had this, went in, and they had a machine gun on there. And our first thing, I knocked the machine gun out. Then turn around, we come back, and we made another pass. And that pass, I hit the boiler in the ship, and I blew the whole front part of the ship out and caught the whole deck afire. And somewhere there, a 40 millimeter, we never did know where it came from. Fired at us and hit us. All to save me that I was so close to it when it exploded that it didn't get a chance to spread. When I was supposed to come back, I had a priority wound, nerve wound. So I had a #1 priority. And I don't remember what island we went to, but we were supposed to fly back. I mean, I got ready to go, and I was scheduled to go. This guy coming, he was in bad shape. So I let him take my place. Well, that plane took off and landed in the ocean. It didn't get off the ground. They saved them all. The next day, they said, we'll get you on. Well, I got there, and the general come up and he said, could I have your seat? He says, I got to get back to the base. And I said, go ahead. So he took off. They hit the mountain. Co-pilot got killed. And the rest of them survived. And they come back and they said, well, we'll get you on tomorrow morning. I said, no, you won't. You get me a rowboat. I'm done flying. So next morning, or a couple of days later, I got on a hospital ship. And it took us, I think 12 or 14 days to get back because we zigzagged back and forth. We didn't go in a straight line. And to San Francisco. I somehow knew that I was going to get wounded. How? Don't ask me. I don't understand. It's just the feeling I had. I thought they got that machine gun going again, and I got hit in the shoulder and was lodged in my back. I didn't know I was wounded as bad as I was. And how I kept from bleeding to death till we got back, I don't know. I had 2 holes about, well, in my shoulder was an inch across, and one down by my elbow was about the same. And I bled pretty bad, but I never pass out. But I get hit in the right side. Being I wasn't healed, why I had a Letterman, I think it's Letterman General in California, why they had to patch me up, and they gave me a couple of shots, but otherwise it wasn't too bad. Not too much pain. I had one piece removed when I got back because it was underneath my armpit, and when I put a jacket like this, it made it sore, and they took that out. I still carry about 12 pieces in me. I just strong enough that when we was down in St. Louis, wanted to go up in the arch, I couldn't pass the metal test till I told her that I had a bunch of Japanese metal in me, and I never did learn to write left-handed. But as far as eating, I could put the fork in my hand, and I could eat, but I couldn't like cut meat or anything like that. They had to have that done because I couldn't do it left-handed. I was bowling, and he confined me to bed. My main doctor come in and he said, "What are you doing in bed?" And I said, "I got put it in here for bowling." Says, which hand was you using? I said, my right arm. Get out of here and go bowling. I did pretty good too, bowling, to be with an arm paralyzed. So I had, when I was in Memphis, they got a doctor down from Wisconsin, I think he came from, or Michigan, Michigan. And I had my nerve was cut, and he patched them, and he cut it all open, but it was cut in two places, and he said, I can patch one, but I can't patch two. And it's the best thing that ever happened, because that nerve grew into that nerve and eventually grew down, and I could use my hand again. The only time that I enjoyed myself was at the Kennedy General in Memphis. Why, I was in a room, I think there was 6 or 7 of us in a room, and I was the highest rank, so I was in charge. And I had to see that if they wanted to leave to go uptown, I had to see if they got it. And any problems they had, I had to take care of. If they didn't listen, they didn't get a pass to go to town. And I didn't have any trouble. They was all well behaved. And one thing I remember very clear, I went out in the hall and there was a colored man out there, and they had him laying on a cot out there, and we had a spare bed in our room. And I went back in and we went out and got him and brought him in, put him in. And the doctor says, you can't do that. He's got to stay out there. Okay. So they took him back out, and all the rest was just moved out and laid on the floor. And they let him stay in there from then on. And he really appreciated it. But our feeling was that he was part of the American soldiers, and he got wounded serving us, and he had a right to be in there. And after that, they always let them in. They put him in after that. I felt pretty good. In fact, I was on the way from North Carolina to Fort Logan, Colorado, and I had 6 servicemen with me that I was in charge of, and I told them I'd be in charge of the record, but I wouldn't be in charge of them, because we knew it was just about over. And we was in Chicago when the word come out that the war was over. I lost all 6 of them. But they eventually wound up in Fort Logan. But they was late, but they didn't punish them for it.
I started my doc off as a kid, hoping to have some fun. But now my doc is done and I've learned a ton. I've learned through Wayne's injury that without his sacrifice in history, there may have been no me. I've learned to respect anyone and everyone no matter where they come from. I've learned to appreciate the little things, like the smell in early springs. I've learned to persevere no matter how severe, even if I want to shed a tear. I've learned that the only thing war is good for is bringing out the heroes that may now lay in rows, but everyone knows they gave us the life we chose. Wayne's story opened up my eyes to the unknown. He has shown me lessons I would never have known, and from them I have grown. I know now that it is my own job to not let Wayne's words die, but to let my generation know that it is our turn to be Americans.